Hi everyone, welcome back to Tubi's Garden. I wanted to do this video to share with you the steps that we took to install these absolutely gorgeous Vigo garden beds. I've been posting sneak peeks and doing some fun stuff with you over the past couple weeks, and I thought I'd walk you through the whole process of what we did, and I even left one chore so you could see exactly what that one chore was and you can follow along with that. Let me turn the camera around so I can point it out while we're looking at things. Okay, so here they are. This is my new orphan garden. You may remember that I called it the orphan garden because there was just a box right here of I don't know, it was probably 2x6 wood and planter box, like leftover from the previous owners, and they had, just soil in it, and I was tending to use this as well. Originally, when my kids were young, we used it as the digging garden. We had all their tractor toys and they just used to get in there and play in the dirt, but my kids are 11 now and they're not playing in that way, so we've been using it as sort of a vegetable garden, but really more of an orphan garden, which is when I dug up plants I didn't really know what to do with. I tended to put them in here until I could figure out what I wanted to do with them, and it worked great, but I wanted to do something a little bit more meaningful and frankly prettier to look at. It was kind of a mess, and those of you who suffer with dogs and cats know how that sometimes can be a pain. They get in there. So I saw Janie from Dig Water Plant Repeat, or Dig Plant Water Repeat. I can never remember the order, but she is a local gardener in the Davis area, which is close to my Folsom area. We're about, I don't know, half an hour apart or so, similar climate. She installed these and I thought, oh, that is the perfect solution for us. So I bought the garden beds, and my husband, bless his heart, did all the hard shoveling of dirt. He dug more like a channel. So right where you see the garden beds hitting the ground, he dug a channel. And he assembled, super easy to assemble these, by the way. They are like a flexible metal, but they're coated, and you just screw them together. Lots and lots of screws. If you can see all the screws there. You just sort of screw them together, and then you have this black coating that you put on the top so it keeps this from being sharp. And that's it. And this is the 9-in-1 tall 36-inch raised planter. It's the 9-in-1 because you can make a couple different shapes out of it. Similar to any of you who may have those train sets that go underneath your Christmas tree. You know how you can make an oval or you can make a circle. Same thing with this. You can make these skinnier, wider, taller, fatter, or not taller, but wider, different shapes. So you can make 4 of them, screwing them in a certain formation. So anyway, I like these two side by side, a little fatter. They're like, I think they said 2.5 feet wide by 8 feet long. That was the perfect shape for us. We used all the pieces. Sometimes if you don't use all the pieces, you can make them a little bit smaller, but we did use all the pieces. And we did buy a trellis that's supposed to go from one to the other, and I haven't yet put that in, and I don't know if I'm going to be honest, because ideally I would have liked to have had a little bit more room in between these two, but our water source is there. If you can see, that's where our water comes out of, so we were kind of limited. We didn't want to get too close to that. And on this side, our water source is over here, so we didn't want to get too close to that so we could walk around it. So we were kind of limited, which means that this space in here is pretty narrow. It's just wide enough for me to walk down it, with my legs brushing on either side. I kind of feel like an airline attendant walking down an airline. But it worked out perfect for us, this shape. So I love it. Easy to put together. And what we did was we assembled them, dug out a channel in the dirt, and then plopped these right in, and then went around and dug out all the extra dirt that was here, plopped it in, and then I'd say that was about halfway full for both of these with all of our existing dirt. And then I went and got 25 bags of raised bed mix and some compost and filled the rest of it up with bagged soil. And then I went and got salt and pepper rock, which is what you see here. This is 1.5 inch salt and pepper rock. And my landscape supply place, you can either get it delivered or in bulk, or they have these bags. And either they'll bag it for you or you can bag it yourself. So I went and got, 18 bags of this salt and pepper rock. And I've got 16 of them in here, and I've got just 2 more. I'll put a little bit more and spread it around a little bit to make it more even. But I kept these 2 out to show you because this is, ooh, look at, they are so heavy. I got my workout for sure, but doesn't that look pretty? And what's really cool, and I wanted to show you, was the salt and pepper rock actually comes out a little bit just like dusty gray. And then when you water it and wash off the dust, it turns into this really pretty rock. So I really like it. So I'll set the camera up and I'll open up a bag and show you, and you can take a look. But so far, I've got my veggies planted here, and that's how I plan on using it. This bed here gets way more sun than this bed. This bed is going to be pretty much all in shade on this side, the right side. And the left side will get dappled sun. And then this left-hand bed will get sun for a good part of the day, starting at around noon, maybe 11. It'll get a good amount of sun. So I put my tomatoes in this one because, as you know, tomatoes like a lot of sun. I put my trellis in here. My dad built this, and I've had it for several years, and I've used it every year, and it's fantastic. So I crammed a lot of tomatoes in here. You'll see I've got my favorite Sun Sugar is my absolute favorite cherry tomato, but I've got all sorts of easy ones like Early Girl, and I don't have my glasses on, but oh, here's another Sun Sugar. So yeah, I've just got a bunch of different ones in here. And I have a couple peppers in here, so pepper and a pepper. These actually were free starts that were given to me from Vigo Garden. When I bought the beds, you got free starts, so I got those 2. I'll tell you, I liked the beds better than I liked their starts. Their starts arrived a little small. I maybe would have been happy with them if I had gotten them 2 months ago, but you know, the peppers that I got at the nursery were here in this bed, a bunch of peppers, and you can see they're quite a bit further along, but that's okay. They were free. I guess that's the way it goes. So in here I have my tomatoes, and then I have, oh, I thought that was one for a second. I tucked in some seeds in here and I went, oh no, did it come out somehow? Look at that. No, this is one of the maple fairy wings. But I tucked in some carbuncle watermelon. Carbuncle watermelon is a really thin-skinned watermelon, and so you can't grow it commercially because it bruises too easily, and it's just not a good shipping watermelon. So I started it by seed. I just tucked it in there, and we'll see how it does. But I also bought another watermelon here. This is a Bush Baby, Sugar Baby, and those are small, which is good for us. I don't get enough sun, consistent, during the day sun for the big watermelons. I don't have a lot of room either, so I just got that small one, and I'm kind of thinking it will just drape over. Peppers do phenomenal for us. So I have a bunch of peppers in here to make my homemade salsa, and then I have 2 cucumbers. This is a start I got from Vigo. Again, you know, it wasn't the strongest looking start, but I'm hoping this new growth is showing that it's coming out and recovering pretty good. And then I just picked up these cucumber at Green Acres, which is our local nursery here, a local chain home nursery. And I have those, and those look nice and strong. And then I've got some more pepper. So that's just what I have in there for now. You know, the cucumber will hopefully, you know, crawl up this trellis. So I didn't plant anything too much more in here. And I'll probably put a few shade plants around the back just to make it look pretty. But for now, that's what I have. I have this pot, which will have to sort of settle in a little bit better and clean up. But this is from last year. This is Surefire Begonia White with a Russian sage, Dichondra Falls, and even I think a Calabroca in here. That's all overwintered from last year, and it looks great. I'll probably come in here and, you know, pick off some of the rattier leaves, but it's really fleshed out beautifully. So I'll probably leave it here and just have something pretty. The Russian sage will fill in here and look nice, but I still have room to get back here and work if I need it. So that is my Vigo garden bed, or beds, I should say. And that's my new orphan garden. So all my little nursery pots lined up. This is what I have all going on here. All my leftover, I pulled all my bulbs out. For us, the tulips won't come back, so I'll just compost those. But I do have daffodils that will come back, so I'll let them just gather their energy, and then I'll dust them off and store them away somewhere. I have a geum left over. Look at that pretty apricot color. I love it. And so I'll need to find a place for that in the garden. And then I have these two, I call them flowering maples. Some people refer to them as a Buellton. Aren't they pretty? I have two of these that I may just leave in these pots and find a place for them out in my backyard. And then I have a citronella plant and a calla lily. The citronella, I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. It does have this pretty purpley pink flower, but it can take over and grow crazy, so I don't want to put it into the ground. And just because I can, there's my parents' dog I'm babysitting. Look at that. My Jackmani purple clematis opened today and partnered with my Eden rose. It really is just the most spectacular. Oops, sorry about that. There's a truck going by. But just those colors partner together, just stunning. And then I've got another rose that my mom gave me called Perfuma Earth Angel that's there that I will train to go up this way and fill in that way. So, and then my citrus, my wall of citrus here. So my orphan garden is really setting up to be something really pretty. I love not having this big blob of dirt there. I love raised garden beds because they're so easy to work in, reliable, and frankly, as we get older, bending over just becomes less fun, right? So this is a really nice solution for as we age, to remember, you know, don't make yourself bend over. All right, I wanted to show you what that salt and pepper rock looks like. So let me turn the camera around and I will open up one of these bags and dump it out so you can see what it looks like. These things are heavy. That's why I paid the guys at Nimbus to load it for me. Okay, so you see, it's kind of a boring gray. It's dusty, it's dirty. As I kind of look at it, It's not that inspiring. Fill in some of these holes here. Make this a little flatter. All right, now watch as I get the hose out and see when I rinse off some of this dust, how pretty it becomes. See, isn't that pretty? You can really see the colors. I know they call it salt and pepper, mostly because it's black and white, you know, dark and light. But I feel like that's only when it's dusty. When you get the water on it, all the colors come out in it. There's yellows and greens and blues and grays and rusts and oranges and oh, I just think it's so pretty. I love it so much. So I'm hoping that with, you know, the water that's happening here, every once in a while I'll get out here and keep this dust, you know, off of it, and I'll get to enjoy the pretty coloring that we have. All right, well, down here, and I'll get out of the sun so you don't have to have it shooting down on you. So that was really the whole process of getting these Vigo garden beds together. I'd say what we learned. One, if you're going to assemble it in the garage, make sure it fits through the door. That would be the first thing we perhaps learned. Two, have a helper, because, you know, this kind of garden chore, for me anyway, isn't that much fun screwing things together. My husband assembled them all as and my son helped, so that was really sweet. And, you know, when you can make things easier on yourself, like getting bagged rocks instead of, you know, having to get it delivered in bulk or, you know, schlepping it yourself. You know, I'm a little older now. I'm not 25 anymore. And so some of these garden chores I have no problem outsourcing to someone young and strong. So if you can, you know, find ways where you can get some help with the labor, get the garden company to bag up your rocks for you, and you know, maybe even, you know, pay a helper if you don't have someone to help you assemble things. My kids helped shovel all the dirt, spread the rocks. This was definitely a family project, which was super cool. So that was the first, you know, second thing I guess we learned. One, don't assemble in the garage unless you can fit it out the door. Two, you know, get help where you can and save yourself for the fun stuff, the planting. And don't be afraid to experiment and have fun. All right, well, I hope that you have a chance to get out to your garden today and enjoy this amazing spring. Bye-bye.